Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy. For today's video, we react to Austin Sweat's ranking the top. For today's video, we are reacting to Austin Sweat ranking the 10 best starting fives in the NBA for 2022. Got it in one, coach. Don't take me out, man. Okay, so I would probably have to say, collectively speaking, I'm not expecting to see the Detroit Pistons in here. I'll probably say they're more like top 15 range. But my predictions, I'm going to say, I think the Nets probably number one when everybody healthy. Everything considered, I'll probably say the Nets number one, probably Lakers number two. We'll see, though, man. Also, want to let you guys know over on the main channel, Crispy Flakes, I've been doing a ranking series. I've been ranking every single starting position for every NBA team, so go check that out, man. Over on Crispy Flakes, let's get it.
With the NBA offseason mostly over and all these different players having moved around,
bro, I'm kind of see-through, man. I'm like Casper, the bitch-ass ghost.
A lot of teams got complete makeovers, and others just added a lot of great pieces, which means we now need to take a look at what the best starting fives in the NBA
Let's do it.
They are. You know the rules.
So is this the lineup they're actually going to run? Or is this you are considering every single player on the team, including bench and everything, right? And what that best lineup could be? We could probably watch and find out, right? Yes.
These top 10 just based on how good their starting lineups are, not really based on how their record will turn out or how good these teams will be as a whole.
Okay.
Before we do, quick shout out to the sponsor of today's video, DraftKings.
Hey, yo.
Who's the leader in daily fantasy sports, and they're putting you in the center of the action with a
Check
shot
it
at
out.
millions of dollars every week of the
Dang,
regular
man.
football season. So get in on all the action now. And if you've never played fantasy football before,
bro, I used to kill fantasy football, man.
To set up and it's
bro, I used to kill the fantasy football, man. Straight up.
Actually watches. Now on top
Oh.
code Austin.
Oh.
Back to the video.
There we go.
Number 10, the Chicago Bulls with Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Patrick Williams.
I love this lineup, man. I love this lineup right here. Straight up, bro. Lonzo is going to have a field day running this shit in transition. And I can already kind of see, Vucevic being old school Rasheed Wallace, on the trailer, three-man, pulling up as all these other dudes and running down the court, man. I can see it, man. It's going to be good. The Bulls are going to be a good team this year. Watch.
Vucevic.
Watch.
Listen, these guys only come in at 10 because they have a lot of competition ahead of them. But I really love this lineup, and it's one of my favorites of the entire video. The Bulls were able to do way more this offseason than anyone thought they would. They signed Lonzo, DeRozan.
They also got Stanley Johnson
for Markkanen, and it's
so
given them a solid playoff squad for this upcoming year. I'm excited to see what they can all do
Subtraction
together.
by addition.
Of course, if they exceed expectations, they will have deserved to rank higher. You got to be cautious because they're still the Bulls and have still had a terrible track record recently. But it'd be pretty.
Well, yeah, but the team got better, I guess. I mean, saying they're still the Bulls. I mean, I feel like they've done a good job in recent years. I feel like the rebuild is going fine. Maybe not so much like a rebuild, because they definitely took another step and everything, right?
Hard to screw this up now because everyone in this
by trading picks and
can
stuff
shoot near 40% from three. They have two solid big men in Williams and Nikola that can score on the block or spread the floor. LaVine that can do it all. And I think if it's ever gonna happen, it'll be this season that Lonzo Ball has a breakout year. He can do huge things in this backcourt, and even if not, and he still plays the same.
Excited to watch him.
They'll still be set. And I don't love DeRozan's game, but his scoring leadership and ability to post up and score to create instant offense that they can use whenever they're going through a slump makes this overall a great squad. Number 9, the Atlanta Hawks with Trae Young, Bogdan Bogdanovic, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, and Clint Capella. And again, they're only at 9 because there's so much competition ahead of them. And this
I might take that Bulls starting five.
And they really didn't make any offseason moves because they didn't need to. But they're still.
I feel like the Hawks. I don't know because I do have the Hawks as a top 4 or 5 team. So okay, I guess that's fine.
Seem like a new fresh team.
I'm not basing off record in this case.
Still so young and developing, so we don't necessarily know how much better these players are gonna be. They got 5 or 6 guys on this team, all under 25, that could break out at any time. And we saw how good the squad did in the playoffs, and they didn't even have their key piece in DeAndre Hunter. They took
Collins re-signed too. No chemistry
issues
now.
Defender, and I'm a huge fan of his. If he continues to develop this season at the same pace, it'll be huge.
Stay healthy too.
Starters are so complete in every aspect. 3 out of 5 of them are excellent shooters from deep. We still have Stockton and Malone too.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I would when I used to do NBA fantasy leagues and stuff. That's how I would build my team, 2K and stuff, man. Because you got the shooter, you got the all-around dude, you got the dude that can attack but also stretch a little bit. You got the inside man. That's a good NBA 2K built team right there.
DeAndre Hunter to be the team's star defensively. Bogdanovich, who I like to think of as a wild card, who can put up huge numbers any night. And Clint Capella, who pairs with Trey nearly as good as Collins does. And for this video, I can't even get started on their bench, but they have nearly just as much talent.
Dude, it's sweaty as hell, man.
Benches, Atlanta would rank much higher because they're one of the deepest teams in the entire league. Number 8, the Boston Celtics with Dennis Schroeder, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Al Horford. And Boston was...
I think I'm personally going to put in... I think I'm more so... I don't know. Because I like Robert Williams a lot, too. So I kind of want Robert in the starting lineup somewhere, but I also don't know about Al Horford at the 4, so I don't really know how to control that. I guess just replace Al Horford with Robert,
very busy
right?
this offseason. And I've seen a lot of people crapping on the Celtics for some of the moves that they've made, like giving Robert Williams a big contract and trading Kimbo for Al Horford. But I don't think I could be too much happy with everything they did. They needed a center and they needed to trade Walker, so it only made sense to get Al, who would fit perfect back in their starting lineup. I never like when a player gets traded back to the same team, especially only a couple seasons later, but given their situation, a little awkward. It made sense. And it couldn't have worked out any better with Dennis Schroeder signing with them. As for Robert Williams, they see him day to day in the Celtics always have a pretty good eye for talent, so if they believe in investing in him for the future, I'm cool with that.
Could be a good contract down the road for sure.
Fournier, but get Josh Richardson to make up for it, and re-sign Marcus Smart, which were both good moves. But okay, enough with their offseason. For this 5 though, like I said, they fixed all their issues and now have Jason and Jaylen still as their stars, Schroeder who can do it all and play point, so Marcus Smart doesn't have to, which is good because at times it was rough when he did, and Smart's been developing a good amount on offense too, so he's a great player to have at shooting guard. And I love them having himself and Jaylen Brown as their 2 elite defenders. Then Al Horford, who's also good on that end and can tie things all together. I'm just
well rested too, and playing all for OKC really.
Jason at the 4 and Horford, who's not an elite rebounder or post-up guy at the 5. But it may or may not work in their favor, so we'll see. Number 7, the Suns with Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, and DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah, I want to see Cam Johnson start.
To say here, it's the exact same squad we saw in the finals, but they just played so well there, and throughout the postseason, I had to rank them in at least 7. Some might say they should be ranked higher since they made the finals, but again, I'm basing it off of the starters, and the Suns were great as a whole, but some teams have starters that I'm a little bit more of a fan of. I'm excited to see how much better their young guys and Booker, Bridges, and Ayton come out.
It's not a ranking.
Personally, though, I think they'll show.
It's not like a ranking like what team is better. Like he said, it's a like based off starting 5. But there's a lot more to a championship team or a championship caliber team than just that. You know, it's also the bench, the coaching, all that stuff, which the Suns have all that, so
improvements, because the game's now probably slowed down a lot to them after experiencing what a playoff run and finals is really like. But yeah, I also don't expect CP3 to drop off really any. I think he's going to be just as good as he was last year, but we just gotta hope that a big injury doesn't happen as he starts to get older and older. Number 6, we have the Miami Heat with Kyle Lowry, Victor Oladipo, Jimmy Butler, PJ.
Bro, that's a nasty starting 5 right there, man.
And this is one of my favorite 5s in the league. The Heat came in.
I can feel the pain, man.
Created an entirely new starting 5 that has huge potential. I think these guys are going to finish with a top 3 seed in the East as a whole, especially with some of the guys they still got coming off the bench.
I think I'm going to root for Miami next year.
Just about the starters. And the only thing that worries me here is their 3-point shooting and ability to stretch the floor. Kyle's a good shooter, but Oladipo's not the best. Jimmy isn't good. Tucker's inconsistent, and Adebayo's non-existent from deep. So it may be better off having Duncan Robinson start and Oladipo coming off the bench if it becomes a problem. But even then, this squad would still be a top 10 starting lineup. They just need the offense to be there. They got a ton of defense, but 4 guys who sometimes struggle on the other end, and it's why they don't rank any higher. And if things don't go well when they're actually together, it's why they could deserve to drop in the future on this list. Number 5 goes to the Denver Nuggets with Jamal Murray, Will Barton, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon.
Damn, that's a tall ass lineup, man.
And there's only one guy in this
lineup
that's ever been an all-star, but it's so perfectly assembled that they at least deserve this spot. Murray and Jokic are great together. Barton's a go-to scorer. Aaron
Jamal could be an all-star
defender that they desperately need in this lineup, and MPJ's a perfect scorer to spread the floor and be a 3rd or 4th option to score when needed. Plus, he's going to come into this year hopefully more developed than last. If everyone stays healthy the whole year, the Denver Nuggets...
Dude, Michael Porter was killing it at the end of last year, though. Like, this dude was a freaking bucket, like, when Jamal went out and everything. I don't know. You guys are going to see in my ranking video, man, I'm very high on Michael Porter. So go check out my small forward video. I don't know if it's out yet, but if it is, go check it out, man.
Might end up being next year's champs. They need to make some more moves to work on their depth, but I don't think there's anything they could possibly do to make the starting lineup any better. Number 4 is then taken by the Milwaukee Bucks for Drew Holiday, Dante DiVincenzo, Chris Middleton, Giannis.
Not much to say about this one. They are who they are.
Giannis were the 3 biggest factors in their championships, so obviously they mainly carried this lineup to the number 4 spot. We didn't get to see Dante in the finals, but we know his
Dante's Inferno. It's a video game.
Defense complements these other 4 pretty well. And even though Brooks not consistent, he's still obviously a great fit. And you might have thought that since this 5 led the Bucks to the title, that they'd rank in at number 1, but that's not the case because the teams ahead of them all now have players that are injury-free or new lineups that they didn't have last season. Plus, the Bucks had a ton of help off the bench that other teams just didn't, and their bench was a huge part of their success. That's not taking anything away
Corver
from
is
the
checking out
starters,
that man's form like, what the hell are you shooting like that for?
And I don't think they're better than number 3 in the Golden State Warriors, though, because they have Steph Curry, the now healthy Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green.
Low-key, man, I'm saying Warriors winning the championship next year, man. It's going to happen. Like, especially if Wiseman can have, like, a sophomore jump. Watch out, man. This team is going to be good. They really are. I just feel it, man. Klay Thompson's going to be motivated, dropping 40-point games. Oh, yeah. It's going to be a good team. It's going to kind of come down to Wiseman and also Klay being healthy and stuff.
Green and James Wiseman.
I'm excited for it, though.
The big 3 from their best years finally all healthy and back together. And I feel like a lot of people are underestimating them coming back this year. I feel like people aren't taking them as seriously as they should be. This big 3 forever changed the NBA and literally dominated it like no one ever has before. And they still have Andre Iguodala on the team, who was a huge part of their success. But he is much older than he was. But it's okay because they have Wiggins in the starting lineup, and he's much better offensively than Andre was at that time, and plays a similar role on defense.
Yeah, he's like Jordan Poole too.
Really blew it last season. But if he actually comes out and plays like he should now, then he has potential to be better than any center that this squad has played with, which is why they'll once again be a serious threat. Number 2, I'm gonna give it to the Los Angeles Lakers with Russell Westbrook.
I agree with this.
Monk in the starting lineup. I'm guessing LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Dwight Howard. And I got a lot.
I mean, if we're being realistic, AD needs to get his ass at the center spot. He needs to do it. But I think in the starting 5, I'd love to see THT start. That's probably not going to happen. I would say probably Wayne Ellington makes the most sense. Like, you got so much, like, personality in, certain styles of playing here. Get yourself a 46% three-point shooter in Wayne Ellington. Just put him at the 2. And use guys like Malik, to kind of carry the load off the bench. I feel like that's the best fit.
A lot of problems with this team. I think there's a good chance it's not going to work. With Westbrook playing with these guys, LeBron aging another year, and with Anthony Davis's inability to stay healthy, it leaves a lot to worry about if you're the Lakers.
LeBron's going to make it work. He will.
Chance that things all go well. They have 3 starters from their championship roster. Malik Monk, who's a scorer, an excellent shooter to play off their stars, and Russ.
Bro, I cannot wait for the NBA season. I cannot wait.
And that's not even to mention their bench, who at this point is making them look like the deepest team in the entire league. Listen, in my opinion, this team's got way more talent than last year, but I don't think it's going to work.
I cannot wait.
Think they'll make the finals, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them out in the second round. Then finally, for number 1, I don't think anyone can deny that the Nets deserve this spot.
Nope, you can't deny.
The starting lineup is last year with James Harden, Kyrie Irving.
Bro, Blake Griffin is not starting, man. Bro, it's going to be Kyrie, James Kyrie. I guess James is technically the point guard now. Joe Harris at the 3, KD at the 4. Sekou Doumbouya at the 5, I guess. Brother, better not start Blake at center, man. It's not good for the long term.
Kevin Durant, Blake Griffin, and DeAndre Jordan. And the only thing that can get in this team's way is injuries again, like we saw last season. If healthy, though, I think it's hard to argue that this team would have won it all. They have the most pure talent in their 5 out of any team in the league by far, with 3 superstars all in their prime. KD's the best player in the league, Harden's a top 5 to 10 player, and Kyrie's at least top 15. Not even to mention Blake played great and took another pay cut to stick in Brooklyn. But it is a year later, and we still have barely gotten to see them all 3 play together and see what they could really do. Chances are, though, their injuries are all now out of the way, and we're gonna get to see them healthy for the majority of this year. So again,
at least to start off,
win it all this season. And those are my picks for the top 10 starting 5s in the NBA.
All right, guys, that's all we got for that video. What do y'all think about those? I thought it was actually pretty accurate. I don't really have anything to complain about with it. I thought it was a pretty good list. That's all we got for the video. Thank y'all so much for watching. Peace out, my friends.